He's Ray Rice, former Ravens running back, 6 seasons in the NFL, and I think about ready to turn. Are you going to be 29?
Yeah, I'll be 29.
When?
January 22nd.
Oh, okay. So we got a month here before you turn 29.
About a month.
All right. What's the reaction in the public? If you're walking down the street, you go to the store, do you get reaction from people?
You know what? It's there was a time when I thought that I would go out expecting the worst, but I'll just be honest. I've got nothing but the best. I've got support.
What was the worst?
I haven't got the worst.
Oh, you didn't?
You know, that was the thing. I put that pressure on myself going out because you feel ashamed, you feel embarrassed, you feel everything that you go into a dark place. But when I went out, I started to realize. People. There were people out here that actually took a different approach, and they kind of felt like they knew the person, and it gave me hope to continue to go out a little more, and it speaks a lot on what I'm doing now. And I'm back in my community in New Rochelle, mentoring kids, and solely based on about decision making. Everybody knows about me playing football and being successful, but now, if I can go out there and just preach to kids and anybody I can reach about decision making, and because I've always preached 1 or 2 bad decisions, your dream can become a nightmare. And I truly lived that nightmare, and it all came down to decision making in a split second, and it was the worst decision I've ever made in my life.
Tougher for you or your wife to go out?
She's actually she's a lot stronger than I am. I watched her go out, and she went out a lot faster than I did and got out and, was herself, was stand up, and, she took the responsibility of carrying the family. As a man, you kind of was sitting back and, watching my wife be strong and carry this family, I truly, love and admire her for that, because if we had both been in a cocoon, I think we both would have been in a deep depression, but we were able to shake ourselves out of it because it essentially became, us against the world. And we took that mindset, and we have a 3-year-old daughter that she knows nothing, and it's our job to raise her the right way. And when it's time for me to have that, daddy-daughter talk, it's something that I think about, day to day, every day of my life that I wake up, and something like me going wrong, you think about the NFL, it's like my daughter's here, so my daughter has been a true blessing to me, because she has that ability to take something that can seem so bad for me, but it turned out to be so good. I get to take my daughter to school. I don't have to call people to do things for me. I get to physically be there for my daughter. Not that I don't want to play football again, but it's a different feeling. It's a different love.
When's the first time you saw the video?
I'll be honest. I try not to. I try not to look at it. But I think the first time I've actually watched it was the morning my agent called me and told me it got released. So that was the first time I've actually seen it.
What'd you think then?
Honestly, I went into a real dark place. Because I hadn't seen it before, and I just kind of relived the night. And
what led up to the elevator?
It wasn't much that it was just a bad night. It wasn't much that you could say led up to it. Obviously me and my wife were drinking, but one thing nothing should have led up to it. It was just a bad, you don't want to think about what led up to it, but obviously that's what, that was just the worst case scenario that could happen. As a man, you don't even want to put yourselves in this, in them situations. And
what'd she say to you that set you off, that you would do that?
It wasn't, the thing about it is, it was in the heat of an argument. I really couldn't remember what was said because we had been drinking and doing, it was a long night. And, it just was one of them situations where, and like I said, if I had to go back on it, it all came down to decision making. I'm a better man than that. I made the worst decision of my life, and I'm thankful to have my family. I'm thankful to have my wife. As much as I'm hoping for an opportunity as a second chance to play in the game, I'm thankful for my second chance at life. I'm not incarcerated, and I have a chance to raise my family and be the man that I'm capable of being.
What was that next morning like for you and your wife when you woke up?
Well, the next morning, you know, the night went by so long. When we on the drive back, you know, it was just one of those situations. We didn't know the magnitude of our situation, you know, until
When did you?
until everything started to come out. You know, you don't realize that, you know, this is, I mean, not that we didn't take it as a big deal. Obviously, when you get put in handcuffs and you're in a situation, you know it's a big deal then. And but we didn't, like I said, you get home, you do all the right things, you call the people you're supposed to call, you call it, and it's, you know, they kind of like, you kind of got to let it simmer. And then,
Did the Ravens try to hide this?
nah, I think, like I said, we follow protocol. You know, call the head of security. You report everything, and I don't think there was a way you could hide it because of who I am. You know, I think there's no way. You know, I haven't had a track record. I was clean before, and you know, and I've been clean after. I've had a history of no kind of violence in my life.
Had you ever put your hands on your wife before?
Never. You know, I say that in all honesty. I've never, ever put my hands on my wife. This was solely a isolated one-time incident. And, but just to be clear, one time is too many. You know, one time is it shouldn't happen once. You know, and I take so much, you know, when I think about that, I think about, you know, I couldn't imagine even going down that route, but I have a daughter, and I couldn't imagine, you know, that happening to my daughter. And you know, that's my lifelong, you know, journey for her to raise her the right way, to understand that, you know, Daddy made the worst decision of his life, and I want to protect her from that. And me and my wife work together great on that. You know, we do a great job of raising her, but you know, the moment is gonna come when I have to speak to her, and she's going to be 4, and she's so smart, you know. And the thing about it, she asks about football, and you know, I still have to craft responses enough to make her understand why I'm not playing. But you know, I'm not ready to have that talk with her yet. You know, when she gets old enough, you know, because just as fast she knows how to use an iPad and a tablet, you know, and I would hate for her to, you know, learn how to type in my name and first thing comes up is the video without me having that talk with her. So, you know, that's my life, you know, preparation is just preparing for that moment when I have to take my daughter out on a date and have that long or walk in the park, a long talk, because it means that much to me. And obviously, anybody else I can help along the way, you know, with my story, you know, I'm going to do it.
He's Ray Rice joining us in studio. Is it a conversation you have by yourself with your daughter? Or do you have your wife involved in that conversation when you have to say, this is what Dad did?
I think my wife definitely has to be there for that conversation. You know, even, you know, I think as a man, you take pride in wanting to, you know, do things for your daughter, but we both were in the situation. You know, obviously I take full responsibility for everything, but I would want my wife there for support, for my daughter to hear her point of view, you know, as a man. And a lot of these situations is, you know, the more research I've been doing, because I've been doing a lot of understanding what the severity of domestic violence, you know, is. But a woman is the most key part to it. A strong woman who can speak out for her own, who can speak out for herself.
But a lot of times we don't listen to the woman. We don't believe her.
Yeah, but I think
society doesn't do that.
I think they need, like, my wife can speak for herself. Me, I can't personally speak for her.
Because she said something that really struck home for me when she said, every time you show that video, the media shows that video, I relive it. Like, it's bad for you, you did it, but she's a victim every time that it's shown on TV. And we got to the point on the show where I said to my bosses, I said, I don't want to show it anymore. We know what happened. It's gratuitous. we don't think about the victim, that she relives this every single time.
Yeah, which is very true. It is very true. It's something that I was the sports star, but
Yeah.
she was the knight in shining armor in the background. She supported me in all my endeavors, like I said, and sports is just put out there. Sports is a very big part of my life, but it's not more important than my family. It's a small time period where, to be a successful athlete, it's a short window of opportunity in life, and so it's safe to say that, me and my wife still have to, live for the rest of our lives, and and not to downplay, but in February we'll be 2 years removed from the incident, and it still feels like yesterday. And we still, when we did our Matt Lauer interview, he told us this is something that's going to carry you for a very long time. But I think that very long time is more, for the public eye. For us, we have to live day to day for our daughter. So we're trying to get out of the shadows of it, even though it's going to be with us for a very long time. But for us, it's going to be for our family to raise our daughter, for her to understand it at a point in time, but get out of the shadows of it.
I want to come back with Ray Rice. I want to ask you about when's the last time you heard from a team. You're going to be 29, which is old for a running back, but you haven't carried the ball in a couple of years. So we'll have more with Ray Rice here in the Man Cave coming up. Dan Patrick Show.